For anyone who grew up in the 80s and 90s, Shredder is iconic. That armored figure, those gleaming blades, that voice swearing to destroy the Turtles, or anyone who stood in his way, the eternal villain, the living embodiment of menace. And for years, that's all we knew. But buried in the original 1984 Mirage Comics, there was a much darker version. Not a warlord, not a conqueror. A boy who watched everything he loved be destroyed before his eyes and decided the world would pay for it. That story was never on your television screen. To understand the real Shredder, we have to go back long before the Blades. We have to talk about Oroku Saki. He grew up inside the Foot Clan, trained alongside his older brother and a silent rival named Hamato Yoshi. 3 warriors, 1 code, 1 family forged in discipline and honor, until love destroyed everything. The woman Yoshi loved was also desired by Saki's brother. And when she chose Yoshi, something in his brother shattered beyond repair. In a moment of blind rage, he attacked. Yoshi fought back to protect her, and the fight ended not with victory, but with silence. Saki's brother was lost. And in that single moment, the boy watching from the shadows lost everything that made him human. Grief does strange things to a child. For some, it breaks them open. For Oroku Saki, it sealed him shut. He didn't cry, he didn't beg for justice, he made a promise. When Yoshi was exiled from the clan and fled to New York with the woman he loved, Saki stayed behind. But something inside that silent boy had already started to burn. Every training session became a form of self-punishment. Every fall, a reason to get up faster. Every strike, a reminder that his brother was gone because of one man. The pain stopped hurting. And that's when it became dangerous. Because pain that stops hurting doesn't disappear. It transforms. It becomes fuel. It becomes obsession. It becomes the Shredder. Years passed, and Oroku Saki was no longer just a warrior. He was a ghost. He climbed through the ranks of the Foot Clan with the precision of a blade, reshaping a centuries-old tradition into something colder, something darker, something that served only one purpose. What was once an organization devoted to ninjutsu became a criminal empire. He became the Shredder because he needed the boy inside him to finally disappear. New York. The hunt was patient, merciless. While he built his empire in the shadows of the city, his true mission never wavered. And when he finally found Hamato Yoshi, the confrontation was fast, brutal, and final. Yoshi and Tang Shen were eliminated. The promise made by a broken child was kept. For the Shredder, that moment felt like the end of a cycle, like the wound had finally closed, like the ghost of his brother could finally rest. But men blinded by revenge never see what they leave behind. There was a witness that night, a rat named Splinter, who had learned the ways of ninjutsu by watching his master move, absorbed not just the techniques, but the grief, the love, the loss. And he would take 4 small turtles transformed by mutation and turn them into something the Shredder never planned for. Heroes. The man who believed he had won that night had actually planted the seeds of his own downfall. Because the thing about revenge is, it never actually ends anything. It just changes who's suffering. Other versions reimagined him, made him an alien, a supernatural force, a cyborg soldier. But none of them explain why the Shredder is truly terrifying the way this original 1984 story does. Because he's not a monster born from darkness. He's a boy who was swallowed by it, and that single difference changes everything. There's still one detail about his transformation that almost no one talks about. A secret buried inside the original Mirage Comics that reframes every single fight he ever had with the Turtles. Stay here, because we're just getting started.